I am Sam Otten, and in a moment you'll see Jason Book, and in this video we're going to give our reactions to the Justice League sneak peek footage that was shared at Comic-Con. This is from Warner Brothers. The film is directed by Zack Snyder. There might be a producing or co-writing credit for Joss Whedon according to Variety, but this is a Zack Snyder film, and you can tell from this footage, if there was any doubt, we really have the Zack Snyder aesthetic going on, which I think is great. And this is a little bit different than what we've had before. So a year ago, we got the Comic-Con special footage, which was really just an introduction to the characters. They didn't have any of the main action scenes ready yet to be shared. Then we got the official trailer 1. That was kind of your standard trailer where we see Bruce and Diana going and recruiting the team, but it builds up to some nice action footage that we got to see, culminating in Aquaman surfing on the Batmobile. So that was quite exciting and exhilarating to see. Now we get sneak peek footage, which is longer than a trailer, and it's really serving a different purpose. Here they're giving us snippets of different scenes. We can't, they're not giving all of it away, but they're giving us more of a taste rather than slashing it up into a trailer. We're really seeing some little samples of things throughout the movie. So lots of good new stuff here. Really excited to kind of dig into it. So I'm going to kick it over to Jason first to share some of the things that he really liked and reacted to in this sneak peek footage.
First of all, I just want to say I really enjoyed it. It just seemed to really kind of gel everything together here, and some of the things I were concerned about, leading up to this have been addressed, and it's starting to feel like a real cohesive movie. So I'm going to go over the 5 things that I really enjoyed about the trailer, and I'm pretty sure that you guys would have enjoyed it too. First up, I like the way it focused on the individuals. Everybody got a little bit of screen time. They definitely, are capitalizing on the success of Wonder Woman with her being introduced in the trailer first. I really like that angle. And I like that this shows what's going on with each character and leading up to why possibly we may need these heroes all to band together. It was very well done. Second off, I really enjoyed the fourth world angle. We've had some glimpses of that before in the nightmare scene in Batman vs. Superman. Now it looks like we're getting Steppenwolf. We still haven't seen a full reveal of the character, but what I saw I did like, and there were elements of Jack Kirby's designs in there, the mother box, and it's really cool to see Kirby's work paying off in the cinematic universe for the DC properties, but I'd really like to make sure as well that they do pay homage to Jack Kirby in some sort of way in the credits. His influence on this movie so far has seemed pretty invaluable, so it's really cool what they're doing with it. Next up, I would say the use of powers at number 3 is what I liked about the trailer. Everybody got a chance to shine that way. Wonder Woman had her scene at the beginning at hacking the bank robbers, or sorry, I guess the kidnappers that they showed the Flash's speed and different uses than we've seen before, because as we've said before, they need to really differentiate themselves from the TV show. Showed Cyborg hacking into something that looked very cool. Aquaman doing his thing underwater and also showing the extent of his powers. Batman being Batman, but also stepping up things a bit in the Batmobile as well. So it looks pretty cool so far. I can't really complain about it. At number 4, I would say what was really interesting to me was the absence of Superman being addressed. Talking about the world's place, how things are since Superman's death. It was very cool. I liked how they're doing that in the movie. It shows that there's a void, and also you hear some sort of sinister bad guy voice saying this is the time to attack Earth. There's no Kryptonians, no lanterns, as a nice aside, admitting that the Green Lanterns do exist in the DC universe. So that was really cool. They're really playing with this, that they need to band together because Superman inspired people and they want to do the same, but also that the world is vulnerable because Superman isn't there. I like that angle a lot. And finally, to me, number 5, but kind of encapsulating the whole thing, is the tone of the trailer. Seemed fun, but not cheesy. We're getting moments with these characters interacting that seem funny and tongue-in-cheek, even stuff with Commissioner Gordon as well. And that's what I've wanted to see the whole time. I wanted DC to do their own thing from the Avengers way of doing things in Marvel, but still you have to have that camaraderie and that sense of fun, and also that sense of that this isn't an everyday thing, so they are going to razz each other a bit, and there is going to be some conflict as well. So the movie's got a nice serious tone, but it looks like it's going to be fun too. It's coming out in November, but really it would lend itself to being a great summer comic book movie. But overall, just more good stuff here. It's gotten me more excited for the movie, and I can't wait to see it coming out soon.
All right, so I'm going to share 5 things that I'm really excited about from this footage, and I'm going to build right off from what Jason was talking about. So, with regard to tone, I am excited about the tone. It's great to see this third installment in the Snyder trilogy, and Terrio and Snyder have been working together on the last two and really building to this moment of kind of having it all pay off with some of the joy and fun and a little bit more optimism, but still having that intense action, the high stakes, and really getting into some heavy drama with these characters and taking them very seriously. And I like that the tone comes from the characters themselves. So, like, we have the Flash now in the mix, who we did not have in previous movies, and the Flash brings some of that youthful energy, some of the humor that naturally comes from him as a character. You also have the tone kind of being lifted by Batman being in a better, more positive mental state. And so that's part of the story that has led us to a more positive, optimistic tone than BVS. Like, it's very different to have Batman now talking about the hope and optimism, the inspiration of Superman, whereas in the last movie he was really, down in this tunnel vision of wanting to take out Superman. Also, building off what Jason was saying about the characters, each having a moment in the spotlight and being kind of a nice mix of characters for this team. For me, the characters are also a really positive thing, and we've now seen enough footage where I'm excited to see the personalities coming through of the characters. They all seem to have very distinct, strong personalities, and I really like the mix of the personalities. I mentioned Flash, but he's not just bringing humor. Flash is kind of bringing this like heart on your sleeve sort of character. Like he, in previous trailer, we saw him like he's crying with his father who's imprisoned, but he's also excited to have friends, and he's also kind of scared to go into battle. And he's basically just his emotions are out there, and it's really kind of refreshing, a nice addition to the team. And then contrast that with Cyborg, who Cyborg here seems to be represented as kind of an artificial, almost emotionless, kind of cold character, which I think is a nice commentary on his, his origin and having the mechanics and cyborg nature of himself. And it's maybe a little bit different than what people are used to with Cyborg from like the animated universe and Teen Titans Go and stuff, where he's very animated and funny and energetic like that. But I like this new take on Cyborg as well that's kind of serious. And he's like, is his humanity still there? That's always this question with Cyborg. Is he human or is he machine? And I think stripping away some of the emotion is a nice way to explore that idea. And it's a nice contrast to Flash. And I also think, though, that Cyborg is going to have a real emotional core. And I think that's going to come through because, for instance, his father is maybe endangered and stuff. We'll talk more about that in a second. But Zack Snyder called Cyborg the heart of the movie. So I think that that cold exterior is really going to pay off and lead to some deep emotions that he has to deal with later. Then we have Aquaman, who's kind of the tough guy. He's the reluctant one to join the team, and he kind of roughs up Batman. But now that he's on the team, he's also the one who's kind of not sure about their mission and if it's smart to do that. So it's kind of interesting to have the tough guy be also maybe challenging Batman and stuff. I think would be really good. And to see Aquaman go from shoving Batman Bruce up against the wall to Aquaman like riding on the Batmobile, I think will be a nice arc for him. Batman, he's the planner, he's the one that has to wrangle all this team together. And then Diana, I think we can see she's going to be one of the real leaders of the team. She's a voice of wisdom telling them we need to, attack together, let's not get separated. So she brings some wisdom of combat, but also I think some emotional wisdom to the team as well. Other characters that we didn't see in the sneak peek, Lois, I guess we see maybe the back of her holding an umbrella looking on at Superman's memorial, but we don't see her, full in the face. Lex, we don't see him, but we do hear Lex mentioned in the media crosstalk. And then Mira is not shown in this one, but I think she'll be another nice character added to the mix. The third thing I want to mention is the visual style. So this is one of the many strengths of Zack Snyder is his deep colors, the deep use of black, the setting up just really iconic framing of his shots. It's just amazing how he works the screen like that. And Zack Snyder studied art history in the past, and he brings inspiration from a lot of artists like Rubin and Doré and Frazetta, with especially Frazetta with the lighting where there's kind of the bright red or the rich colors behind a character that's right in kind of center frame, and then black around the edges really sets off the contrast of the background in the foreground. But Zack Snyder also drawing inspiration from Michelangelo, like the creation of Adam, that moment with the Flash. A lot of people are talking about that. One thing that I really like that I saw from this sneak peek, and I don't think I really noticed before, is all the red sky scenes, which I think is just going to be a really unique contribution of this movie. Seeing that red sky and the action against the red sky, I think it's just going to be a really unique element visually where people will know, like, wow, that's Justice League. There's no other movie that has looked like that. And it's a nod to the comics as well. Like for instance, Crisis on Infinite Earth have especially in the middle, kind of second half of that crisis, there were these red sky that was kind of taking over. So that's a cool little nod to the comics as well, and I think shows the possible presence of Apocalypse. So something's going on there, and also the visual elements of Batman. We get some Batman on top of gargoyles and that kind of stuff. Some real great silhouettes of Batman. We get the cool visuals of Flash's Speed Force powers. Really cool. They've designed a cool visual language for his powers. It's really nice. And then getting Aquaman and having his kind of underwater stuff and him crashing in the water. So just great visual elements all coming together. I think it's going to be a visual feast. But then the fourth thing that I am excited about is something that's really important to me, which is the themes, the thematic content of the movie, which Zack Snyder has really done well, I think, in the DCEU. And I got the sense of some themes here from this sneak peek footage. First of all, right at the beginning, we have Diana restoring a statue, and we have Superman's fallen, crumbling statue, and those were juxtaposed. I'm like, oh, they might be doing something with sort of the restoration of these beacons or these idols, particularly Superman, and maybe the coming again of the Age of Heroes that Diana referred to. There's also this idea of being together, doing things together, and then the notion of family, which I think will be nice because Man of Steel was about fathers, Batman v Superman was about mothers, and so now to complete Snyder's trilogy, we could have family all together. I think that's really nice, and it's going to, I think, affect a lot of the members of the team. Like Flash has his dad in prison, Aquaman has Mira, Cyborg has his dad, maybe captured by the parademons, and Bruce maybe doesn't have a family, but now the Justice League might start to become his family, so he's the one that maybe needs family the most. Diana has maybe Hippolyta. There's kind of something going on there with Themyscira, so she might be concerned about her mom and wonder about their role with the mother boxes. So lots of family stuff there. There's also a possible theme of Bruce saying that everybody's being held back in some way. So this theme of how do you overcome things that are holding you back, and maybe one way to overcome them is to have a beacon that kind of like shows you the way forward, and you can try to follow that beacon. So that could be a thematic coherence to the movie. And then there's also the one about Alfred and Bruce saying, I don't recognize this world. Well, we don't have to recognize it, we just have to save it. And that goes to this bigger theme of the DCEU overall of, should we save humanity? Why should we save humanity? Humanity's not perfect, but yes, we should actually save it anyway. So I think they might be going into that one as well, continuing that theme. So I'm excited about that. And then the last thing I'm really excited about, and I think this sneak peek footage does really well, is it raises questions. So people can start talking about it, speculating about it, trying to make their guesses, look for clues. There's the question of, is Themyscira going to survive the arrival of Steppenwolf, or is Hippolyta in danger? There's the question of Cyborg. How's he going to manage, being a mother box himself or being created by the mother box, and now having people from Apocalypse coming back trying to retrieve the mother boxes? How's Cyborg going to handle that? What's going to happen to him? There's obviously the question about this hologram that Bruce is looking at. At first glance, you just assume that's Superman, a hologram of Superman that Bruce is considering. But the leg looks kind of feminine, so people are saying maybe that's Supergirl, and that, Supergirl was missing from that pod in Man of Steel. So maybe Supergirl was around a long time ago, based on the prequel comic for Man of Steel. Maybe she was around when Apocalypse came the first time, and now maybe she's back around to help out with Apocalypse returning. Or maybe Supergirl they're doing some other new take that's not really based on that prequel comic. I don't know. Or maybe it is actually just Superman, and it's a little trick of the lighting or the hologram or something, and that makes his leg look more slender. That's a question people are debating. And then the big question at the end, is that Superman talking to Alfred? Some people are saying maybe it's a Green Lantern talking to Alfred. I do think that it is Superman talking to Alfred at the end. But then there's the question of, how does Superman return? Does Batman have to help him return? Does he just return on his own? How is that going to play out? So Superman is definitely around in spirit. People are talking about him, being inspired by him. There's the banner on the Tower Bridge in London. And also there's the music that they used from Man of Steel and Superman's theme in the second half of the sneak peek when there's the action scenes. That's Superman's music. So we can feel him in the sneak peek footage even though he's not there. And those questions are just really fun to think about. So overall, very pumped about it. Can't wait to see more. We'll probably get another trailer, but November is going to come pretty quickly, and I'm really looking forward to it.